Welcome to the T-Love Show, a conspiracy-based podcast that takes an in-depth look at the controversial sides of events throughout our time. And I'm your host, T-Love. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the T-Love Show. I got my older brother back here with me for my last episode of season 1. What's up, Larry? How you doing, brother?
What up?
Doing all right, man.
Good.
So, our younger brother, who is, we'll just say incarcerated for another 2 years, has been listening to my podcast. He wanted to jump in here on this, so he wrote me a letter.
6-page letter.
6-page letter. Well, he said there's 4 more coming. I don't know, he just wanted to be a part of it, so he wrote me this letter, and I decided me and Larry's going to read this for my final episode. But we did read it pre-hand, but some of the spelling and words are a little ran together, or
Franklin Heights, baby.
yeah, that. So, well, shit, him, it would be Finland.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he made it to Heights.
Jeez.
But, all right, yeah,
He
so...
did. I seen him there a time or two.
So Chris wanted to get in on this, like I said, man, and he's dropping information about World War II, Admiral Byrd.
At the end of World War II.
At the end of World War II, the Admiral Byrd story about Nazis' UFO base potentially being on Antarctica. So...
You guys don't know about it, you better check it out, because it is pretty interesting.
So, yeah, Larry's going to go ahead and read page 1 of 6, and then we'll get in on this. Go ahead.
All right, for all you ladies who like mild tone voice men, here it comes.
Stupid.
Did Nazi Germany have a secret UFO base down in Antarctica? What do you think?
It's possible. With everything that goes on down there right now.
And you're ex-military, so it shouldn't surprise you at all.
It doesn't surprise me at all, no.
You probably saw some stuff that we'll probably never see. Like a Nazi Germany UFO secret base.
No, man.
But I've heard some crazy stuff from Birdman and from even ex-Navy SEALs who's actually worked on there, which is pretty wild, believe it or not. But so it's rumored that some Nazis escaped and set up a secret underground base to aid in the development of their top secret flying saucer program. Stories like they have been around for decades. And some of you UFO people who've been abducted, you've probably been laid out on some of those German Nazi secret UFOs. But this idea has been given new attention because of a 2006 discovery by an Ohio State University scientist who found gravitational anomaly located below Land, Antarctica. This has been interpreted by some as being the secret Nazi UFO base. However, this turned out to be just an impact crater with a typical mass circumference at the Earth. So basically, they're saying that this hole that this Ohio State professor found was from an asteroid. But this is a whole different story in itself with the Ohio State University scientists. They basically created Operation Paperclip. They made a show on it. I watched it. It was okay. But what the guy was paid to do was to discredit the people who saw these UFO flying saucers. So they would come in, basically laugh at them, tell them that they're crazy, nothing to see here, keep them moving. So it's hard telling what that guy saw. But there is some legitimacy to the Nazi presence in Antarctica during the year landing up to World War II. Germany engaged on an expedition between 1938 and 1939. This contributing fact is beliefs the Nazis may have tried to establish a stronghold at the South Pole. It has been well known Germany had designed a variety of advanced aircrafts towards the end of the World War II, with some flying saucers, but no
verifiable reports.
Okay, that's what I thought. But no verifiable reports have been found that would suspect the claim about Nazi flying saucers. Nazi UFOs have all formed from these known as experimental anti-gravity device to an anti-aircraft weapon, but due to a lack of good source information about Diglanka that can help support the case that this device ever existed. Have you ever heard of the Bell?
Yeah, I saw that on Ancient Aliens. It's that, it's like they said, some kind of craft that was believed to try to get Hitler like into a different time loop, like like a time machine.
Yeah, time machine.
Or a different dimension, or even be able to use anti-gravity for wormhole uses to transporting from Germany to Antarctica or Argentina or Chile, right, or any of these Nazi areas that they wanted to get hide out at. But yeah, so I've definitely heard of the Bell.
Yeah, I have too. I heard it was discovered many, many years later in Pennsylvania. But I don't know how true that is. You're not seeing it in any kind of museums or whatever. It's just somebody saying that they came across it, saw it, or something. There's always somebody that's seen something. But so apart from the expedition by Germany in the late 1930s, might be the genesis of the Nazi UFO base in Antarctica.
This has less to do with what the Nazis did and more to do with a series of cryptic comments made by Rear Admiral Byrd.
Yeah, I said he was saying it without saying it by saying it.
Right. During an interview with her National News Service correspondent Lee Van Atta, Byrd was a highly respected elected American adventurer and hero known for his paragamic and down-to-earth views and proven extreme courage.
He seemed like, in the interviews that I've seen of that guy, I mean, he seemed to be like a legit
hard-nosed,
good guy.
Yeah.
Like, how you get the vibes off people that are just pieces of shit, especially,
people who are full of shit.
Or full of shit, yes.
Yeah.
And this guy seemed to really discover something that he really wanted to tell. And the only reason I say that is because, did you know his son served with him?
Mm-mm.
Or under him?
No.
Yeah, his son was actually on Antarctica and or the expedition that they started doing, building the bases and all that. Well, there's a picture with the son already there, and then his dad flying in, and then coming off and greeting him, shaking his hand.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it's pretty pimp. It gives goosebumps a little bit, but especially like that. Back in the day, if people were genuine, people were genuine. Even if people really wasn't genuine, they're a lot genuine than the people are today.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a different time, but
it says here
anyway.
The interview took place on board the USS Mount Olympus in 1947. Appeared in the Wednesday, March 5th, 1947 edition of a Chilean newspaper, El Morocco. El Morocco. Bird declared it was.
And if we're chopping this up for the people that live there, we're sorry.
Oh yeah, they ain't gonna hear this, man.
Well, I know, but still, someone could be in America from that country.
Bird declared it was imperative for the United States to initiate immediate defense measures against hostile regions.
I just came up with something. We should do this on an evening, and every time we fuck up a word on here, we have to take a shot. How drunk do you think we'd be?
We probably wouldn't make it to page 4, bro.
I know, right? That's what I'll say, man. That'd be some shit right there, boy.
Potentially using Antarctica as their base. He further stated that he didn't want to frighten anyone, but it was bitter reality that in the case of a new conflict, the United States could be attacked by, quote, flying objects which could fly from pole to pole at incredible speeds. Now one can see that connection between Nazi UFO myth and something going on at the South Pole. What threat did Bird witness that would have him make such claims during the interview? Bird was asked to lead the operation codenamed High Jump. So I've heard of High Jump, but I don't really remember the aspects of High Jump.
See, I've heard of Fly Jump and
High Jump. High Jump.
High Jump.
Yeah.
What'd I say?
Fly Jump.
Did I say Fly Jump?
You said
well,
Fly
you
Jump.
it's a high jump if you're not in a fly, right?
Fair enough.
All right. But Operation High Jump. Yes, I've heard of it, and I started looking into it a little bit, but then I stopped. But for what I've seen is basically it was a race to get to basically take over that land so you can build a base, but slowly it's became everybody's base over the
a joint
years or
effort down there.
Right, but that was the first time we really went down there. And I heard something a little bit about, the Nazis going there, but I thought we were there a little bit before them, but I could be wrong. Because the Nazi Germany's, they were ahead of their time. I mean, to keep it real, for them to do what they did, if Hitler did not get poisoned or messed up by, that's another thing. They said his doctor was like an undercover spy for us, and he was basically just slowly injecting rat poison into him slowly because he had to have medicines or whatever.
Well, he was also addicted to heroin. So you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, 100. So
that dude was juiced up.
Right. So, but that's what I'm saying. And his soldiers were like that. That's another reason why they were so hardcore, because they were going hard in the paint. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of reasons for that too, though. They were also, they made them to be like, your rack mate was your fuck buddy.
Oh,
they made them be intimate, so that you would.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you have so that they would fight harder for their partner because that was their lover.
Whoa, see, that's what I'm saying. They were like ahead of their time to like
some crazy shit, ain't it?
Think like that and to.
Yeah. I'm not saying all of them were, but I do know that they forced some of their.
No, and I can see that
to be in intimate relationships.
What do you think about all China and all their military with all their dudes like that?
I'm sure.
Do you think? I bet you they're making them, do the same old bullshit as this.
But that's what's so crazy.
Countries learn over different countries, so.
Yeah. But that's crazy that, like you heard he died from rat poisoning. There were some people who say he took his own life in that foxhole. Mm-hmm. Some people say he escaped.
Yeah.
So there is so many different.
Antarctica.
Right. But there's a lot of. Yeah, there's a lot of different conspiracies out there where he went, what he did, or what happened to him. And like, did he get buried? Like, if he shot himself, then they should have the body, right?
Right. Well, like Osama bin Laden, we should have
buried
the
at
body
sea.
On that. Are we going to take the word of, no pictures, really? Like, were really gonna not take a, well, they could take a picture, and they probably did, but at the same
There's pictures
time, oh, I'm sure, but I'm just saying it's not flooded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But you know what they say, that all these people who have, and I'm putting the
Air quotes.
air quotes up, have died, are on an island somewhere enjoying themselves. Now, I'm sure, die of old age eventually or whatever, but at the same time, they're not actually killed. They're escorted away to an island where basically like the latitude line, the 60 degree, maybe that's why we can't go down there. We go down there, we start seeing Tupac and Biggie, you know what I mean? I'm not saying, but,
right. I understand what you mean.
It's crazy that you say that, because I didn't know that we weren't allowed past a certain,
the 60th latitude line.
I'm glad you told me that. I could be on a fucking boat here in the next couple of days, or didn't know about it, and I'm sure arrested because I'm too close to Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah.
Mention, TMZ shit. But
it says with the back from Tupac and Biggie, with the technology rumors of the Nazi Germany stronghold, Bird was accompanied by an extremely heavy military presence, which occurred between 1946 and 1947. Some have suggested the Operation High Jump was a secret battle between the United States and a group of residents that live at the South Pole. That past UFO Nazi technology, if not advanced Nazi technology, what else sent Bird and his heavily military team packing so quickly, ending the expedition 6 months earlier than expected, especially on expensive, well-funded military expedition. So he was on Operation High Jump, which is an expensive military expedition down there.
A boatload of stuff, ships,
and
planes.
They ended it 6 months early.
Well, then they found something.
They either found something or were ran off by something.
Right.
Yeah.
So either they're not allowed. Do you think that's where that 60-degree latitude longitude line thing is?
It's basically where Antarctica is. Well, anything below that line is Antarctica.
Probably. So,
and then
one or two things. Only certain special people are allowed down there.
Yeah, you have to have a special permit from the UN or whoever, some government entities. You have to have a special permit to go below that line to do expeditions.
It's for the Gemes 12?
Could be.
There,
Yeah,
and then I'm curious to who gets that after they die, unless they found the forever juice where they can live forever,
Fountain of youth.
Yeah, who knows?
They say that's a thing.
I don't know. It's crazy what you see anymore or hear anymore,
right?
Know? And then it's like what's true and what's not, because about this UFO stuff, they're saying it wasn't true, and then now they are saying it's true.
Yeah, it's hard to trust what any news outlet or government entity says to you, because you don't know what their true objective or motive is behind the information that's being put out.
And the majority of the time, it's not good.
No,
never.
It's always to lie or deceive.
That, well, that's what the one CIA agent said. He said we're trained to lie and deceive you,
Right.
And I don't know, it's crazy. But anyway, so I guess this Admiral Byrd found the hole, flew in. It was Crystal City. Something grabbed his plane, parked him, and there was these beings, but he never explained what they looked like. So we don't know if they look like the Greys, or if they're reptilian, or if they're, because how they say there's all these different types of them out there. So he never described what they were, but they were different. And basically they were saying, what are you guys doing up there? You're letting off. That was after we let off the Hiroshima bomb, and we let off 2 of them. They don't like that. We're destroying.
Right.
And they're wondering what we're up to, everything like that. So he leaves, and he goes to tell people, well, the government put him on a gag order, but about his son, he found his journal. His son found his journal, and is exposing or whatever. But
plus, the theory of Nazi UFOs would explain Bird's cryptic warnings, but in another sense, Bird could have been discussing what could have been the threat of an enemy that might have established military bases in Antarctica before America. The details of Operation High Jump, rumored, undisclosed, about strategic bases, exactly what the Americans' mission was during the operation. So basically, he's saying the information he said may not have been about a UFO base, but just a different enemy that was already established there before they put on Operation High Jump to go down there and explore. So maybe when they got down there, instead of the UFO base, which we just talked about, it was another enemy base, and that's what ran them off. But again, if we had a well-funded military joint venture down there,
right. But do you remember Ronald Reagan at the UN?
Mm-mm.
He always would say what it would take, unidentified people, for our nations to come together as to be one, to fight one. So I wonder if he was talking about that down there, that he just heard through the grapevine of presidents and stuff, because I'm sure they know a little bit what's going on down there, but they don't know the whole thing. What I think the presidents find out and know less and less and less as the years go on, because if you look at the one president, I forget it's Eisenhower, whatever, who did the Majestic 12, because he was in the loop on the aliens stuff.
Yeah, that was Eisenhower.
Okay, well, he was in the loops, but he wanted to kind of steer it away from
telling you where that went away.
So I don't know if they decided to say screw the president,
Nixon,
or if the president decided to say screw the Majestic 12.
Nixon screwed that up, because Nixon got drunk one night, picked up one of his friends, drove to a UFO, and this is in Florida.
I heard about
drove to a base and then showed him the UFO bodies. And then that dude told his wife, and then they got like a divorce, or there was some kind of conflict, and then that guy came out and told fucking people, yo, Nixon took me here.
Wow.
And so that's when that Majestic 12 president thing split. Like, okay,
that
we can't trust the president.
And you know what? They're only part-time workers anyway.
Yeah, so they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They're like, I got clearance
they're year-round. These people, they're in and out.
Right.
And that's when they probably started putting in the whoever, you know what I mean? 'Cause all we've had is retards.
Yeah.
People.
Puppets.
Yeah. Back in the day, we had real men that ran stuff, but
Nixon screwed that up.
Yeah, that's when it all went to shit. That makes sense.
All right, it says Bird and his men encountered a ruthless and unbearable enemy, Mother Nature. The extreme conditions of the winter season had brought major issues in the beginning months of 1947. A massive downwind swept a helicopter during takeoff, crashing into the icy ocean, the pilot only having a short opportunity to escape to be rescued. Plenty of other situations where military men wasn't so fortunate. Many men lost their lives in a small period during the operation. Operation High Jump was canned the following February, all on the grounds of severe weather. So now they're saying, or what Chris is writing in our letter here, that 3 different reasons they canned this mission 6 months earlier. You got maybe a UFO base they encountered, maybe an enemy that they encountered of, Nazis or German alliance, and now they're saying weather. could have been a factor.
I call bullshit.
Yeah, I would call bullshit on the weather. Like, you can't not know the weather.
They know the weather.
They know the weather.
Because I was watching a video it was a military video on showing how they were setting up the base in Antarctica. It's pretty badass, but it's like an instructional video.
Right.
So, and the whole time when they're flying in, they're radioing in, letting them know the weather patterns all the time. No matter when you're flying and you're radioing, they tell you weather patterns, and weather is not going to be an issue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Now, don't get me wrong. I give them a chance something might pop up out of nowhere, but I think going off of what his diary has said, he's encountered something that he probably shouldn't have, but he did, and he's told not to go there anymore.
All right. Was Bird's interpretation of the flying objects exaggerated? Antarctica explorer Paul Simp says of the famous El Morocco interview that the reporters on the USS Mount Olympus might have taken claims out of proportion from Bird's earlier expedition in the South Pole related to the Bunger's Oasis, a lake that was found to have warm temperatures that was about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, collecting a large range of algae. Bird referred to the area, a land of blue and green lakes and brown hills in an otherwise limitless expansive ice.
Shout out to Franklin Heights.
Right. Basically, he's saying in the middle of Antarctica, he found that oasis. He found an oasis of lakes and green and
yeah. Beautiful. I heard it was beautiful. Like crystal buildings with different colors of light. It's sure green.
Yeah, it said seemed to have dropped out of the 21st century into an Antarctic landscape, where the land was just starting to emerge from one of the great ice ages. So, like, this land was trying to emerge out of the ice age through some thawing. Bird later said,
They say it's miles thick, and that was back in the day. So, if it's melting like they say it is.
Bird later said, by far the most important of the expedition so far as the public interest was concerned, which the most important part was finding this land. Paul Simp went on to say the two press representatives around the USS Mount Olympus had fired of dispatches to the outside world, describes the oasis as a Shangri-La, implying that it was warmed by a mysterious source of heat that might be supporting vegetation. So it's some kind of underground oasis, like a Shangri-La. I can't even sound that word. I do know that they made a video game kind of based on that. It was
I believe it.
Oh man, what was it? They made a movie too.
I believe it. They're gonna make a movie.
They made a movie of the video game.
They're gonna make a movie to tell you, or at least show you what a little bit that they know, or a lot more that they know. But
I played this game with my kids. Mark Wahlberg's in the movie.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
I didn't know his kid was acting.
No, Mark Wahlberg's in the movie. I played this video game with my kids.
Are you talking about Uncharted?
Boom, that's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Uncharted 2 is about what they're talking about.
Yeah. I haven't even played that. I didn't know that. That's what that world
Number
was.
2.
Yeah, I played them all.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they show you a little bit, I guess. You don't get to experience, touch, feel, smell that shit.
Yeah, you ain't going there.
You can see it.
You see what they show you.
So Bird is claimed to have written in a secret diary.
There you go.
So,
yeah, there's your diary,
see,
Larry.
Hell yeah, boy. Beyond, and I'm not trying to spoil nothing. I'm just, just talking about what I know.
Right.
But beyond the mountain range is a valley with a small river. Something is definitely wrong and abnormal here. We should be over ice and snow, nor navigation instruments are still spinning. The gyroscope is obsculating. Do you hear these words that this motherfucker's trying to use?
Yeah. Makes you wonder where he's getting his information.
The TV. Because I guarantee you, he's watching those, he's got cable. You know what I mean? So.
All right.
Yeah. So they are like basically going crazy. They're like going back and forth and shit. So, okay. So he's trying to describe him.
Bickering.
Paint a picture. Yeah. I can see animals in the valley among there. A living spectrum of a woolly mammoth. Okay, so that's what I was curious about. Like, I wonder if their animals are like our animals, or are they different animals? Like
prehistoric type shit.
Yeah, that would be cool. The prehistoric stuff, because we have similar animals like that. Like the mammoth is like an elephant we have, or like the
saber-toothed
tiger is like the tiger out here, stuff like that. And I'm sure there's some couple different ones or whatever, but do you think maybe their animals get loose sometimes?
Maybe
get up out of the hole and come out, and when people catch it on their camera, that's what it is or something, Could be possible.
Right.
Also discovering its habitable regime at the South Pole, wherein a cave enormous entry point into the earth, where he met residents who live beyond ground. Hollow earth dwellers is what they called them. Bird was took to their master, who told Bird. So apparently they have masters there.
Right.
Master, Bird said. Nah, it's fine. We shall not long delay your mission, and your will be safe escorted back to the surface. But now, admirably, and I should tell you why you have been summoned here. Our interest rightly begins just after your race exploded the first atomic bomb over Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan.
Yeah.
It was at that alarming time that we sent our flying machines. Oh my God.
So the master.
Yeah.
You were just talking about
you went around with the master. The master's noticing this shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's what he's saying. Those atomic bombs.
Yeah.
Those atomic bombs alerted them, like, hey.
Yeah. And then why? Why did we really have to drop that on? You know what I mean? Like, if we were
Pearl Harbor.
I understand that, but
that's why we did it.
Like, we could have just parked a couple ships outside and then just made work of it. Not, I don't want to kill innocent people, but the people who deserved it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're saying instead of taking out whole cities, I think they warned them. Though, like,
that's a warning?
Well, no, like before they dropped the bomb, like, civilians, you need to leave the area. It's coming. I think they did that.
Okay.
Now, I don't know that for sure.
Okay.
But that would be the humane thing to do.
That would.
Yeah. I know in Iraq, they would drop letters. Like, they would fly over and drop letters basically saying, if you surrender when we come to town, like, no harm will be done or whatever. But then they realized that the Taliban were taking those letters, pretending to surrender.
Right.
And then do some kind of counterattack or something like that. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I just got a peanut butter whiskey drink brought to me. Shout out to Screwball.
No free shout outs.
You want to try that? It's just peanut butter whiskey. Just take a little sip. What are you scared of?
Everything.
You might like it because peanut butter's good.
It is.
That is the best peanut butter drink I've ever had. I've had a couple of the other ones. Yeah, and I don't like whiskey all like that. Like I don't drink whiskey out the.
It's got like a
butterscotch peanut butter taste. Yeah, and then you can add not like real grape jelly, but they make this. Oh man, it's like puree, grape puree.
Okay, so it's like a
peanut butter jelly drink.
Okay.
And it's on point. But you can't, like, it's really syrupy. So, like, I can't drink.
I could taste that. It's a sipper, basically.
Yes. It is definitely a sipper. I ain't trying to get smashed on that.
No, because you can definitely feel the burn on it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's crazy. That makes sense then. So, I bet we didn't really see a whole lot of flying saucers up until that point then. Because then you start, that makes me want to think, are they the Greys? Because they're the ones who came, supposedly met with our leaders.
Eisenhower.
And
it signed that treaty to saying they could abduct us.
We got technology and they got to experiment on us, basically.
That's when because that was happening. Yeah.
Jeez.
Right. And then like the Betty and Barney Hill happened in the 60s. So you're talking about this was 40s and 50s. And the most, I wouldn't say there hasn't been abductions before then, but the most compelling one, which if you listen to episode, I believe it's 8 of the abduction stories, like Betty and Barney Hill is the GOAT. Like it's the one.
Oh yeah.
And it's so compelling because she mapped out the star system of where she went. And no one really knows that star system at all, and she was almost dead point accurate with it. And they were like, wow, okay, so now we know something's up.
Oh yeah. Well, they say some of that dude, they like, people have been taken from Earth to go check out the maps. Like, how do you think maps were made? You know what I mean? And people drawing them out or whatever. So I mean, is it true? Do the maps really look like that? You know what I mean?
Right, the flat Earth map shit.
Yeah, because you would have to go, up high to see it all. To see that, to draw that. And I've heard in past time that certain people have been lucky enough to, I don't know if you call it luck, but crazy enough to be able to go up and experience that stuff. Now, we can, if you got money, can go up and look, but I don't know how high it would get you to draw a map. But
not out of even the atmosphere. Probably just enough to feel weightless.
And then, so the question is, do the states really even look like, or the maps even really supposed to look like that? Or is that just somebody threw together,
Speaking of going up, that's another thing that is a question that you hear a lot. So the higher you go up in the atmosphere, the colder it is.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think it would be warmer because you're getting closer to the sun?
Well, one would think.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's weird.
It is crazy. Yeah, but okay, so like I heard if you're in outer space, if you're facing the sun, you're warm, but when you're not, you're cold. So my question is the sun's out there
all the time.
So why aren't you
warm? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't believe NASA.
Maybe it might be the say it's the pressure or
atmospheric
or come up
stuff.
With some crazy words we ain't never heard of.
Right. Wait for the Simpsons to air it.
I know. Back to them underground. So I've heard that they keep the reptilians underground. You know what I mean? So is this hole in the earth basically for the Greys, and then under the earth of...
I'm gonna knock you out, dude. Will you stop doing that?
I'm sorry. You can hear that.
Yes. But back to what you're saying. I saw an interview. I don't know the guy's name because he's dead. That doesn't mean I don't know his name, but I remember him having an interview, and he was saying he was contracted to help build these underground tunnels during that time there was an underground fight
Yeah.
between
Yeah, I know,
our
he lost his
military
finger.
and
I know.
well, he also got shot with a ray, and he has
Yes.
a
Big ass scar.
scar.
Yeah.
But it also looks like if he would have got open heart surgery.
Right.
So it's
Yeah, but he also ended up dead.
yeah,
And then with
his
strangulation
strangulation,
mark
yep.
on his neck.
but it was considered suicide. But
Of
he
course.
he strangled himself.
Yeah, when he's out trying to, and he done told you, if I die, I didn't kill myself
Yeah.
because
I don't want to kill
you know
myself.
what I mean. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, so all of a sudden he just had change of heart, like out of here, like that's
Yeah.
what I was talking about. Them dumbs. He's
Yeah.
the guy with something underground military base, and
Right.
he said that he was drilling.
And this was in
they
like the Nevada
came through
area.
a wall. He thought that, and he said next thing you know, there's these reptilioids.
Yep.
And he was lucky enough, one dude died, and then he was lucky enough to get him and some other guy in the shaft.
Yeah, he was
to
shot.
get up.
He was shot in the chest with a laser.
Yeah, and his fingers. He's
his
like
fin-
holding up.
Yeah.
He was jacked up, man.
Why would you
he
come out and just say that?
Right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden end up dead a little bit
Right.
later.
Then end up killing yourself by strangling yourself.
I know, and it's hard to do. It wasn't tied or anything,
Yeah.
but that's what
We know that's one thing our government loves to do is silence people.
Oh yeah, and I've seen videos of leaked military classrooms where this one, I don't know, whatever they are that teach the classes, one of the teachers was telling these guys that they will be coming encountered with these reptilian things, and the guys in the class are asking dumb questions and laughing and stuff, but this dude, he's being serious. He's like these dudes are like they're built like us, but they're taller. They're like 6-7
See,
feet.
that's funny because in my episode 8, every abduction story talks about every alien that ever abducted them, because there was a couple different styles. Like one of them was a monopedal beings, which means like people who don't have legs. There was some that looked like humans. There were some that were the greys, but every single one of them was under 5 foot tall. This is the first one. The reptilians are the ones that are fucking giants.
Well, there's also another giant species that look
The
like
Nephilim.
us.
The Nephilim.
They're like 7-8 feet tall, but
Yeah.
they're with blonde hair.
Those are the
They actually
Nephilim.
got hair and stuff. If you watch there's this show. It's funny that they made this show. It's crazy. It's like they tell you without telling you.
Right.
But there was this alien show where it was a gray, a reptilian, and the long hair. They're the real nice, and they basically showed their character of each one of them or whatever.
Characteristics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the characteristics through their character that they played.
Gotcha.
And I'm telling you, man, it's creepy. Creepy. And I can't remember the name of it. But that Ohio State guy that Christopher was talking about, if you look up Operation Paperclip.
Yep.
They made a TV show of that as well.
Yeah.
And basically they show how our government is basically, you know what I mean? Like making us look like it don't exist. Like we don't know what we're talking about.
Right. Where we at? Let's finish up.
Yeah.
I got it, Larry. Where'd you finish? Right here. It was at that time. It was at that alarming time that we sent our flying machines, the Flugerals, to your surface where they would investigate. We have never interfered. We have never interfered before in your race's war. Why would it say in your race wars and barbarian behavior? But now we must, for your tampering with a certain power that is not for mankind normally, that of atomic energy. It's a nice story. Okay, so basically the master here is saying, we've never interfered in your world, but
Right.
when you drop those atomic bombs, you sent off a signal saying, hey, we're at a different level than what we were before, and now we are going to interfere. And that's when they started flying around and investigating of what's been going on in our world.
They have video of discs shutting down missile tests.
Yeah, in the Dakotas.
With lasers coming out, and just, they go to dud. You know what I mean? They're no good. It's crazy how they can just whip around, which I'm okay with that. I mean, if countries are trying to destroy one another.
Yeah, but
with bombs and missiles.
If they're able to do that, are they able to do the reverse if they wanted to?
Oh, I'm sure.
Exactly.
I mean, shoot.
And that's the scary part.
But if you look and see that and they have the power to do that, then I could say they could do just about anything. You know what I mean?
It says, it's a nice story, but Bird's secret diary has been accused as to being fake. So his diary is fake. So Bird's general statement about the uses of enemy aircrafts could have been about the U.S. up-and-coming decades, in the sense that a hostile nation should establish a base at one of the poles, could use that as a... You want to go ahead and finish up that last page, man, and then we can discuss what that is.
For launching attacks against the U.S., this is why Byrd suggested establishing a be safe at one of the poles, which would serve as advantage locations, Byrd phrased, in the case of a new conflict. This seems to indicate that his statement dealt not with an existing threat, but instead with future enemy nation. Speculations aside, we are left with is not a lot of believable ground that Operation High Jump ended early due to hidden subterranean races, attacker by woolly
mammoths,
and Nazi flying saucers. So why all the growing interest in Antarctica? There's talks of secret meetings held there by the U.S. presidents, astronauts, and scientists. A more recent discussion pertaining to the discovery of an ancient civilization buried beneath the ice, a complex society, even claims of the frozen pyramids. I knew about them too. Photograph where even Mitch Darcy, a geologist at the German Research Center for the Geoscience and Postmortem, said Dr. Mitch, the mountains, which is a range more than 400 kilometers long, so it's no surprise that there are rocky peaks cropping out above the ice.
So he's saying mountain peaks are being labeled as pyramids on Antarctica.
Right.
Because the mountains are frozen underneath the ice. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but...
And is it just a coincidence that one particular Nutaka, where it's simply a peak of rock sticking out
above a glacier? So a Nutaka is a piece of...
But it doesn't make it if a human construction pyramid shaped peak are very close on the matter. No, it's crazy. That's why he said there's 4 more pages coming, because it's not.
That don't make no sense.
It don't make no damn sense.
Well,
so this one's probably...
First, I'd like to thank my brother for taking the time, because he has plenty of it. I appreciate his effort and him wanting to be involved, and I think it's cool. I can't wait for him to get out, because we'll sit down and we'll just have him talk to us about his experience in there. I wonder if he'll go in detail how he makes his toilet wine. Like that movie, Let's Go to Prison. He might make his own fucking toilet wine when he comes back. Was that Lucky Duck?
Yeah.
I think it was Lucky Duck wine.
I don't know, that shit was... Awesome.
Yeah. I don't even want to try it. That's got to be gross.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I wouldn't drink it.
No, me neither. Hey, they get fucked up in prison for that, apparently. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, because sure, you're not knowing what, how potent it is.
Yeah. It's all
Hey,
good.
if that's what helps him get past the time, you can ride him all day long.
Right. But I just want to also take some time to thank everyone who did listen to my podcast, my season 1. Season 2 will be coming out after high school football season. I appreciate you coming out, joining me for my last podcast of the first season. We will get with y'all soon, try to get some information out. And I'm sure Larry will be back on the podcast at some point in the future. But it's, summer's about to roll through and we got coaching. And, I coach baseball and now football, so it's going to be very busy for me. But I definitely enjoyed doing this. It's a learning process, and then hopefully I can get some video coming soon. So next season, hopefully have a video to go with audio. So
that's scary.
I know, right? I know. We're both in our PJs, so that ought to be interesting as fuck. Try to find some. We're like, hair and makeup, motherfucker. I need a hair and makeup.
Oh, hell no.
But, all right, man. With that, Larry, you got any closing remarks?
I'm just saying it's crazy. You just got to look into it and form your own opinion on it, I mean, if you don't believe in it, you don't believe in it. If not, I hope you got a kick out of what you heard. But that's all I got.
Right. All right, with that, man, as always, you'll find your lucky where hard work meets opportunity. Stay blessed.